Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. It's Kim here, and today is Techniques Tuesday, and we are still working on this jewelry. We're going to be working on it for a long time unless you tell me you've had enough, but there's always things to do. And this bag of jewelry that I started with it's not going away anytime soon, that's for sure. So after we play a little bit today, I will do a recap of what's left so you kind of know what we're still going to be working on. But yeah, it's well worth my $15 investment because of all the beautiful dangles I'm going to get. Actually, I'm going to reach over and grab the container so you can see. This was that jewelry stand that I bought. I don't know if you can see this or not, but we've got quite a collection going on here. I've got the ones that are shorter down at the bottom here, and as they get taller, I'm putting them up on the different levels. So you can see that we've got quite a few because this row goes all the way up to here. And I think there's 18 per row. So there's quite a few pieces. When I'm completely done and we are finished with all of this, I will do a whole show and tell displaying everything flat on the table. And I'll make sure I have a nice big clear space so that you can see it all clearly. But you can see there's a lot of black because that jewelry bag had a lot of black jewelry. So I kind of worked in the blacks and silvers, got a couple of red pieces there. And just because I was getting tired of the same old, I dug in the bucket and pulled out anything that was blue and green. And the pickings were slim, but that's all of it. I don't think there's, let's just have a quick look. There's one pendant here that has little green stones in it, but it's missing a lot of stones. So I'm going to find things to put in there to fix it. And then I think this came off one of the shirts that I was taking apart, and it just happens to have the same green gemstone. Well, not quite, but pretty close. So I figured somehow I would tie these two pieces in together, but I'll save that for another day. Got to think on it a little bit, but I have some ideas, so we'll see. And so that's the only green things that are left in here, just to show you what's in this bucket, but we will still go over everything else that's in the other containers that I put aside. So there's still a little bit of red and orange. I think that's going to be a standalone by itself. We've got a couple of these black with gold because we've been working with a lot of black and silver. There's still, I think there's 3, maybe 4. No, there's 3 more of those little brass fairies in this baggie. So those 2 green pieces. Earring. 1980s style of earring that we will work with when we're doing the golds and stuff. This is that big, I called it my flying saucer because that's what it reminds me of. Looks like a flying saucer. And this black necklace, it wasn't in the bag. I had taken it out to use it. Actually, I'd taken a couple of chains out here to use for chain for putting these together. And but then I realized this black and gold is very complementary to this. So I think what we'll do is when we get to this one, I think I'll save it because it's a very glossy piece and it has this black here. The black it's just this, it's like a bullseye. But I think, you can always add, something dimensional on it. I don't have anything in this bucket, but you could add some type of a charm or decoration on top to just to give it a little bit more dimension and not make it look so much like a bullseye. But we'll work on that when we get to these pieces later on. So that's what's left in the bucket after I've taken this out. I'm not saying that some of this isn't going to go back in, but there's also more. Okay, this was the earring parts and stuff. I just put them in a little baggies to keep up on the side because I may go back and forth into it. These were an add-on from my friend Nikki, who sent these to me in Happy Mail. So we were going to use some of these in some of this stuff here. Now I think I could probably use at least one of the brassy colored ones today. I like this one. I'm going to take that one out. Maybe I'll take this other one out too, just in case. So I have these to play with and to incorporate in the jewelry. And then this was the rest of the black and silver. I just said, I've had enough of that for now. So I'm going to just set it aside and think on it a little bit more. Excuse me. I don't know why I have this tickle again. And then this was kind of the browny, reddish type brass, rusty colors. So I just stuck them all in a baggie together, and we will have a play day with those as well. So that'll be a separate one. So that's pretty much what's left in this container, but there is more. So this is what I'm going to work with today, and it doesn't look like much, and it really, I'll be honest, I had to do some serious thinking on this, so I've been sitting here for about an hour before the camera started just to kind of get an idea of what we're going to play with. But before I do that, I did want to give one quick shout out to a lovely gal on the internet. I love watching her channel, and her name is Miss Tommy. Hi, Miss Tommy. Her channel is called Paper Crafting with Miss Tommy. I just noticed this morning, I haven't watched the video yet, but I've bookmarked it to watch, so I will watch it later, Tommy. But she is having her 500 subscriber giveaway. So if you are not a member of her channel, do go and join her channel and watch some of her videos and show her some love. And yeah, you'll find out, you know, that she's got lots to offer and lots of creativity to go around. So yeah, do check out her channel. The links will be in the description box below. Now, sometimes, you know, if you're not real savvy with YouTube, sometimes you just see one or two lines of my description box. You have to click that little more button so that you can see everything that's listed on there, because it gives you links to my free images, places that I like to hang out, my Facebook places, some of my dear friends. So do check out that description box, and it changes all the time as we go along, and I meet new people and join different groups and stuff. I like to update that information. So do check that out as well. And you will find a link to Miss Tommy, Paper Crafting with Miss Tommy, for both her channel and her 500 subscribers. So check it out. And yeah, so we're going to get started now. And Tommy, I will watch your video later on tonight, I think. So this is what I'm working with. I kind of separated into sort of the blues, and there's a little bit of greens, and there's a little bit of, I don't know what we are yet. So this is a bracelet. Obviously, it's all linked together, and it's different colors. Now, some of them are missing the stone. So I guess that was the problem, and how it ended up in this box is that it's a little bit heavy there. The oval stone was missing. So I'm going to save those for another day to show you things that we can do to remedy that. Now, you know, you might look at this bracelet and say, oh, that's so cute. I'd like to wear it, you know, if I wasn't missing those stones. So I will show you how you could fix that if you wanted to fix it. But for the sake of these videos, of course, I'm going to chop everything apart. So these are all connected with jump rings that I will just cut with my snips to take them apart, and I will be left with these individual pieces that have a loop on either end. So we may use these. Then I have this 1980s, I think, type, I don't know, is that an earring or is it a pendant? I don't even remember if it came with something. If it's a pendant, either way, it's not my most favorite. So I did come up with a few ideas that I'll show you. I have this little flower earring on a hook here that I'll just take it right off now because we don't need that. It's a little charm is what it is. So I'm going to take it off altogether. Put that aside. I have a little butterfly charm. Oh, I don't know what happened here. I'll take you a little closer, because if my eyes are going to get burnt out, we might as well burn out some of your eyes too. It's got a little tiny blue rhinestone, the blue stone and the gold and silver. It has two hooks on here, and 4 holes. So there are connecting possibilities. I looked at this and I said kind of futuristic, but it sort of looks industrial to me. It, you know, I don't know. So I just thought, well, we'll see what we can do. And so I have these beads that are all, I don't know if this was a ring. It feels like it could have been some kind of a ring, or maybe it was an earring at some time. It's just these Swarovski crystals and a bunch of these little seed beads attached, and they're on a string. So we're going to take that apart. Then I have this camera charm, and I have another single earring here that is all connected and ready to be hooked onto something, because it's like a charm. So I'm just going to take it right off the earring hook as well. Now, I don't reuse these earring hooks for earrings because, you know, for hygiene purposes, we don't know how clean they are, if they were ever used before. But these do make great little hooks if you need a hook for something. And also, I will probably put some of these in my weird pile. Do you remember my weird pile? I said all that stuff that was weird, that don't throw it away because we're going to use it. And so some of you have started making a weird pile. I think Nancy was making a weird pile, not even knowing what she was going to do with it. And that's pretty cool that you guys trust me that much. So then I have this other earring here. And it has a butterfly back on it. I reuse these. I use these for making stick pins. I don't use them again for jewelry because as much as you can clean these, they are often left with crud in the earring. I don't know, it's just gross to me, you know, from people wearing them. And so I just use them for I clean them as best I can, and I use them for the bottoms of stick pins. If I'm making a stick pin, then it's a great way to stick it onto something. And this is on a post earring. So we're going to take the post off of here. It's got a little jump ring that I don't think I can salvage. So I'm just going to snip that off. I don't know if you can see that or not. I'm just going to hold it up to the camera the best I can. It's holding the post to the earring, to the beads. Okay, got it off. So now this is just a beaded earring with a little ring at the top. So it's like a charm. And what's nice about this is it has the same sort of lustery black beads. It's a black with a luster over top, like a glaze over top. So it has the same beads that are in here, those little seed beads. So I thought, you know, that's kind of a nice complementary thing. So the 2 earrings, these 2 little charms, the camera, this industrial piece, and then this. So I did play around. Now this I'm leaving out because I kind of know I'm not using it for that. So I will come back to that in a second. On this side, I have one of those brass pieces. You know, I've had 3 of them, but I actually don't think I've actually used any yet. I don't think I've actually used these yet. But I have this one. So I thought, you know, these are kind of all kind of shades of green and turquoise. I don't have a plan yet for this exactly. Now this earring here has this green stones. And it's not to say, like, I can take all of these, like the different earrings here, I can take them all off and call them charms just like that. They are done. Put them on a ball pin and they're done. But, you know, for the sake of this video, what fun is that? I mean, I'd be done in 5 minutes and then, you know, I'd still be stuck with this thing. So I'm taking them off of these earring parts and showing you how I'm going to repurpose them with other components. It's just to get you to think a little bit different and to look at things, you know, from a different perspective, that you can salvage everything, even old steampunk guy here. And some of you might, you know, you might be going, oh my gosh, when I'm finished, that you really like it. So we'll see what happens. So I'm taking the earring hook off of this one, and this is just a little you know, it's kind of a greeny color, like a sort of a olive green, and then there's a tiny little green stone on the bottom, but it's just another little charm. And the same thing, I could put this on a ball pin, you know, stick it onto a tab on a journal, and it's done just like that. So, you know, I could save myself a lot of work and just put ball pins on all of these things. Here's another one. This one's got purple, but it's got that turquoisey stone, so I just thought that was kind of cool, and it goes well with the rest of these. So I just have to open up this hook and take this off. And I don't know what this came off of. It's just, it's got a little bead here and then 2 hooks on the end. I just thought dangle and dangle. So I thought, you know, because it's got that purple, same purple stone, I'm just going to connect it to this one. So it, you know, who knows, maybe it came off of here. No, I don't think so, because this is black and these wires are brass colored, so it didn't come off. I don't care if the colors mix. You know, if we're doing junk journals, you know, it's eclectic already. So I wouldn't worry too much about whether or not it matches. Okay, so I've just connected those two. And I don't know why it's got this long extra piece of wire in here, but I'll leave it. It adds some interest and extension to make this longer, but just like that, you know, it's a nice little piece that I've added this thing onto. I haven't been watching my time. So yeah, so those are all the different pieces. Then I have this pendant. It's gold. It's got kind of a green stone. It's hard to show you. It's kind of brassy looking. I thought it kind of went with this, but I'm not 100% on this one. But we'll see. Maybe we could just add it right onto one of these and call it done. I like that. I really like that, actually. So I think that's what I'm going to do, is just use it as a, I didn't feel that it went with this, so I'm going to use it as a little charm. I think it can probably just fit right on there quite easy. I don't even have to do much work to it. So it would just be a charm that dangles right from this paper clip, if I can fit it in. Okay, just have to pull that out a little bit. Might have to work on this a little bit more, but okay, well, there is another way, but I'm determined. Okay, one more kick at this. And if this doesn't work, then we do it the right way. And we put a jump ring, or try to open up this jump ring that's on here. So sometimes you can't always cheat. So since I couldn't get it on that one, I'm going to take the one that's even smaller. That's the wire's closed even more. And slip it on here. Boy, how can such a little piece be so annoying? I do have my new glasses, and yes, I can see now. Life is good, but I don't know if you heard that last week I slipped and fell and bit the dust there, and was very close to planting my face into the into my dog's water dish, actually, which would not have worked well. Oh my goodness, I've never had such a... Here we go. There. Ta-da! Finally. Sorry about that. If you fast forwarded, that's fine. So this is now ready to hang as a paperclip charm. There, Nikki, I got to use one. So I'm going to call that one done. I'm not even going to try anymore. So I still have these other pieces, but we will come back to that one. And then I have this piece. I'm going to leave that aside for now. So in thinking about this piece, you know, the first thing that comes to mind is, well, it's got a dangle, but how do I enhance it even further? So I thought about the camera, because then I could just open up the jump ring and add the camera on, but it's still kind of boring, right? So, you know, then I looked at this thing and put that on there, and I went, just too many lumpy things, and that means we're getting out some glue. So I didn't quite like that. And then I realized that I can make this way. So I can have this silver as the top piece and add that onto there. So it's getting somewhere now. And then this just said, well, maybe I could put that on here, but it's quite bulky looking. So I thought maybe the camera could be off to the side somewhere, and one of these could be on here. And then this could be over here. Still too much to me. So then I started playing around even more. And I came back to that. Didn't like that because it's like this big chunky piece and then these smaller pieces. So then I thought, okay, well, maybe we have to go more this way. And so that kind of works for me. The only thing is that I will have to extend this now quite a bit so that it doesn't interfere with this, with the camera. And that just tells me that there's lots of things going on in here that are interesting. I don't think I could even get this butterfly in here, nor could I get the flower. But the butterfly and flower just seem more natural to me. So I thought they would somehow work together for something else. So this is what I kind of came up with. And it still isn't 100%, but it's kind of what I thought. The only thing is now if I'm going to do that, I have to put a couple of holes in here. So I'm very dependent on whether or not my crocodile will make this work. And then I have to put a hole up at the top to further dangle this thing from, or a spiral. But I thought, well, since I'm drilling holes anyway, I might as well just drill a hole there. But so it all rides on the fact whether or not I can use my crocodile to put holes in here. So I'm just going to eyeball it. I do have a marker here. Hopefully it'll mark on here. So I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that works? Because this has got kind of this gear look to it. It's, I don't know, the camera's, you know, kind of mechanical in a sense, you know, industrial in a sense. This just needs to be longer. Maybe that's not the right. Yeah, I like that shape. The blues are all, you know, together. I thought I could use some of this at the top to create the top dangle, as well as use a few of those to extend the length of these three pieces. But I also wanted to use these seed beads. So that's pretty much what I'm going to play with, I think. And so yeah, so now I just need some holes to make this work. So I know that this one's already got a hole. All I have to do is feed the camera on there and it's done. Like I just have to open it up, but I might open this up and use 3 matching jump rings so that they're all the same. So I've got that one there, and I need to just, hopefully this little, oh yeah, it'll mark it a little bit. So I'm putting one there. I hope you can see that. It might be hard to see because of the reflection from the metal, but I'm going to put one here. As long as this works. And then I need one up at the top here. Okay, so I'm going to take this off. Now maybe it should go this way. It kind of spreads the blue around a little bit more, like it brings the blue closer to the top. I think I'll put the blue that way. So I'm going to move that over, and you see I've got the two holes things marked there, but that is a little close to the edge. So I'm going to take this one off. Sure I will. Here we go. Boy, they're tough today. There we go. All right, so that's with the camera. And we're taking this one off completely. And I can see, now this is metal, I can see where my hole is here. I may, after I make these, because I'm going to use a small hole in my crocodile, but it's going to be big, so I may have to go back and redo this one. So let's hope for the best. Otherwise, we have to go on to plan B. Now, I'm going to try this first. Let's just see. Okay, that is the smaller hole. And all right, hold your breath, you guys. Nope. Nope. Okay, so it made a dent and that was it. So plan B. Let's see. I'm glad you're along to see how this stuff works. Okay, so if I want to hang this from here, I already have the hole, but it's not going to match with whatever I do over here and over here. So I have a choice. I can put 3 spirals and then another spiral at the top, or I can turn this around. We're going to call this the back anyway. Now that I've dented it, we're going to call this the back. So I can make this the top one. I've still got that one there. And I can mark this one and that one. Now this is just a place marker to place the spirals. So what I'm going to have to do is make some tiny little spirals. I've got a piece of wire here. Let's just get one started and see how big we want to make it. Now this is what I use whenever I want to create a hook for something to join onto. And you've seen me make many of these, but I don't think they have to be that big. That's probably big enough. So I'm going to cut that. So I probably used about 1 inch worth of wire here to make this. And then I'm going to make my little hook at the other end. So you can see my little spiral there. It's flat, just like a dime would be flat. And just taking my round nose pliers, I'm just going to make that loop. So that is what I've got right here. So now I just have to make 2 more, and they're going to get glued down to here and the other 2 spots. This other bit here is going to, you know, it'll wash off with some alcohol. I'm not concerned about that, but I am concerned about where I've made a dent in here. So hopefully, yeah, it's not going to be noticeable when I put this on here. So there's the dent that I made with the crocodile. I'm sure I could take this to the drill with my husband's help and drill holes, but you know, we want to do this because we want to do this ourselves, because we don't always have tools. We don't always have husbands handy to do it. And, you know, for the amount of times I ask my husband to do things, I try not to ask him all these silly things. I try to find a way to do it without his help as much as possible. So I'm not concerned about that little dent being in there, if you can see the dent. So I will use this as a piece to cover that. Now I also noticed that this is a bit wobbly, and that's because it's got these hooks on the back that, I don't know if that's bugging it. It must be just these 4 edges here. So I will just have to make sure to put glue on them to hold it really well. So let's first get this worked out. So I'm going to have the 1 hook there. So you can see where I'm going to glue it down. Just like that, so that the loop is what's sticking out, and that's what I'm going to attach these 3 things onto. So I just have to make 2 more. So using the same piece of wire that I had cut. I knew it was either going to be the wire or the crocodile, but I didn't know for sure which. Once I make the initial little twirl with the needle nose, I use my flat nose pliers to spiral it. Maybe 1 more little turn here. Okay, and same thing. So yeah, it's about 1.5 inches, I think, that I'm using to make these little spirals. I'm just going to make the second one, and then I will, or the third one, I guess. And they don't have to be the exact same. It's just that you want to have the 3 loops on the bottom to dangle things from it. Yeah, so it's about 1.5 inches that I'm using to make these little tiny spirals. And then taking my needle nose, I'm just going to roll that loop back into it. And that will get glued there. So this is exactly what I do in the case where I don't have something that I can hole punch or turn into some type of a hanger. You've seen me do that in the first couple of videos. So those 3 things are going to get glued there. And that will give me 3 hangers or 3 loops at the bottom that I can dangle all these charms on. And because I just turned the piece around that had the hole, that's the hole I'm going to use for the top connection for anything I want to connect to. So this is where you would use your stronger jewelry type glues. I'm using E6000. Now I haven't opened this tube for a while, so I don't know the condition of how easy it's going to be to get it flowing, but we will see. Sometimes when you don't use them for a while, they kind of clog up. Oh, not bad. Not bad at all. Okay. So I'm just going to take a little squirt off first. And I just put the glue where I want the piece to adhere. And I'm just going to push that spiral into the glue. So this just gets the glue in between the wires a little bit, and it kind of squishes out and kind of bubbles on the top a little bit. And the fun part about this is you're making jewelry pieces that no one in the world is going to have exactly the same thing. So now I have to let these sit on here this way, even though I haven't glued this piece down yet on the other side, because it's the other side. This is the back side of your piece. So it's on the other side here. Now, yeah, it's got a little mark on here that I have to get rid of. There's a little bit of a dent in there. You know, you can always add something on the back, like even a piece of fabric or just something decorative that it doesn't show, so that it's not as noticeable about the dent. But if you're putting it onto something as a dangle, you're not really going to see that anyway. So this is what it looks on the right, what it looks like on the right-hand side. I hope you can see the 3 loops on the bottom there. And so then we would start to decorate by gluing this piece down first to cover that up. But I don't want to rest it down this way because the glue is still wet. So I'm going to leave it sitting like that. And you kind of know what I'm going to be doing from that point of view anyway. So now it's to prepare these pieces so that they're all going to fit very nicely on this these 3 dangles. Now this is just a little stone extra. I will stick it with the earring parts. It's on a post like this with a little hook on the bottom. About the only thing I could do is I could use it as by taking the post off, and then I've got a little stone that has a hook on the end of it, but it's just so tiny. I would rather just put it in with my weird stuff and use it later on with that. So going back to this, now I'm going to take this jewelry piece apart, whatever it is, and see what we get for beads. Now there's a few threads in here, then I have to cut, I think, a few spots. Okay, so there's threads that are holding all these beads on, and I'm just taking it apart in little bits and bobs here. And there's the thread. And pulling all these off. So this is how I harvest different beads for different projects, by taking all of these off. Now, since we're waiting for that glue to dry, I don't think I'm going to need all of these. I think I would like to have maybe one up here at the top. This is what will connect to that part there. So I'm going to have about maybe 4 or 5 seed beads, one on each side. I think I have some little, do I have any little silver beads? No. Okay, so that's what I'm going to have there on that side. I think I'll put 3 and 3. Oh, there were some, there's these, but they might be too big. Yeah, they're too big. And so then over here, it's this one that I really want to extend quite long. So I think I would put one there, one there, and I'm not sure yet how this one would go, because that's going to flow this way. I think one should be enough, but I may well, I know I have to put one here just to match it all up. Okay, well, I guess we'll see what happens. So I've got some eye pins here. Now, normally I would just work right off the wire, but for today I'm going to use eye pins. These are the ones that have the loop already on the other end, and the first thing I do is close them. I don't know why they come off. I know they're done by machine, but they're never really closed completely. And now that I have my new glasses, I can see that. Okay, so I'm going to start by feeding a couple of seed beads first onto this wire, and then trying one of these beads on here. Oh, that's not too bad. I think that looks kind of cool. So that's what I'm creating as an extension. So I think that'll look really good on that one. But I need a jump ring to go through the camera and this little blue disc at the back first. So opening this up, I'm going to feed on the camera and feed on this disc because this one had a hole in it, and close the two of them. And now this one, I'm going to bend it first, cut off about 3/8 of an inch. Keep the wire because we may use it, not necessarily for this one, but for something else. And then I'm going to form my loop. And just before I close it, so I've got it sitting like that, I'm going to feed the camera onto here and then close it. Now, when this is dry on here, because I can't put it on right now, this is how it will hang from the loop that's on there. And in this case, I don't have to worry about the direction of the loop because the beads, there is no direction on the beads. But at the bottom, I might have to be concerned on that loop to make sure that the camera faces the right direction. So this loop is going to feed this way onto that ring on the other side. I'm on the back side right now, but it's going to feed through the ring that way. And so this loop has to be going this way because the camera and the disc are on it going up and down again. So I do have to make sure then that this is in one direction, and it was just fluke that I had the way I had put it on. You can kind of see that this loop is where you can see the whole eye of the loop, and this one you can't. It's going this direction because that now is going to feed onto the little loop here, because I will open that up eventually and put it on. If I use a jump ring, then that's taking it in a different direction again. So then I have to rearrange this. But I'm pretty sure this loop here is easy enough to open up and just feed it on and then close it. Otherwise, you always have to be aware that every time you add a link, it's going the opposite direction. So you have to hope that I would either add two to end up in the same direction, or add the one and do some bending and moving of this beaded part here in order to make it go in the right direction. So that's where it's going to sit right now. So let's do the same with this one. Taking another eye pin. Now I wonder if that's going to be long enough. We'll see. I'm going to feed on a couple of beads, a couple of the seed beads first. I'm taking the larger bead. So all this is doing is it's acting as a connector, and it's also creating similarity, and yet they can all be different pieces, but it's bringing, making everything cohesive, that it's bringing it all together, with the connection being the same type of beads that we're hanging from here. So this makes it a little bit longer. Like if you can see where it would sort of end up here. Is it long enough? Because what's going to happen is this is going to flow into this. I think I want it to be longer. So I'm going to continue to add another set of this bead and then 2 more seed beads, which is kind of fitting for the one in the middle anyway to be a little bit longer. And then it gives you that chandelier feeling. Chandelier feeling. How can you have that? How can you have a chandelier? I feel like a chandelier today. That doesn't make any sense, but I think you guys know what I meant. Okay, so this will then sit just a little bit longer. And so that when this, because once you stand it up, gravity is going to take over. And so this will kind of lean more into this one, which causes, it's given it, this is giving it enough length to not interfere with this one. But still, if they overlap, it's not going to look bad. It's going to be quite interesting, actually. So I think that would work. So I'm going to connect these two, but first I'm going to close this off. So I'm just bending it back, cutting it down to about 3/8 of an inch. And for now, I'm just going to close it because I'm not connecting it to there just yet. But the other end, I'm going to open up again, the bottom end, and I'm going to feed it onto this dangle. And this is the same kind of situation. If I want it to lie flat like that, this piece is facing the right way because it's connecting the two this way. So that means that now this one, because it's going to connect onto that loop, also has to face the same direction. And in this case, they're not. So I'm going to hold this one steady, and I'm going to take my pliers and turn that one. And it's easier to do this when you've got it loose, compared to trying to do it after it's already hooked onto something. So now both of these are going in the same direction, up and down. So you don't see the eye of the pin, of the jewelry pin. Because in this case, whoop, it doesn't have to face, it has to still face flat, but there are no jump rings connecting it in the other direction. So this now is the hook that will hook right on to there. So I'm using the bead connection itself, not adding a jump ring. So that will connect onto there. Does that make sense? I hope so. And so now if you can kind of imagine that once this starts and gravity takes over, it will bang into each other a little bit, but it's not going to be a total interference. But you know, there, and if we have to, we can always remove this this component and make one that's a little bit longer with more seed beads. So it's just a matter of adding on more beads. But I feel quite confident that this is going to be okay like this. But if not, we can add another connection to it as well. So now I'm going to do the same thing with this one, but I'm going to make this one short like this one. I think that would work. I think that'll work as a short one. So just taking another eye pin. Where did they go? Oh, here they are. And I'm just going to feed on 2 seed beads. Or not. Here we go. 1. 2. This one. And then 2 more. Oop. Some of these seed beads are very tiny that they don't fit on so easily. Okay, there we go. So just bending it back. Cutting it down. Now this one, I'm just going to roll it forward to make the loop, but leaving it open. I'm going to connect this piece onto the ring that's here. And then take my pliers and close it. Oh, it's so much nicer to be able to see what I'm doing. Okay, so that's connected. And again, it just makes everything blend together with adding the same kind of bead onto here. So that one now will connect onto the same loop using the loop from the connection. And this is not directional in any way. It's just a collection of beads that are on here. So I do not have to worry about what direction this is going, because no matter what, the beads are going to flow on there quite nicely. So it doesn't look, oh, well, we got to put the top on too. So it doesn't look completely like it should just yet. And I'll show you once we make the top for this. And so taking 2 beads, 2 seed beads, 1 bead, and 2 seed beads. And making the loop. Now, for now, I'm just going to close it because I'm not going to be putting this on here. But this is where it will sit up at the top. And so now it is ready to add a bulb pin or anything that I want onto here once I do put it through that hole. And because this is the back side, of course, it's going to get flipped over. Yeah, I'm facing, oh yeah, I haven't put them on, thank goodness. So once it's flipped over, you won't see those little spirals. All you're going to see is the hooks that are hooking all of this onto here. And so this will sit here, and then this piece will get glued down here once this is all done. So I think that looks pretty cool. It's a little bit different. It's very industrial looking. It's very kind of a steampunk look to it. And I think depending on how you blend it in with other things, you know, depending on the theme of your journal or whatever, you can certainly add other components on here to make it more to your journal. You know, it's got the camera. This kind of makes me, it sort of looks like a camera in a sense. So maybe this could end up representing something beachy, like very ocean, you know, so you can play around with other things. But there's also this gear look in here too. So there's a, you know, you can add this definitely into a steampunk, kind of a futuristic type of journal as well. Now, normally I wouldn't make these kinds of pieces ahead of time because, you know, I've got to come up with the project that this is going to go into. But it is kind of a fun piece, so anything can be possible, and I think it'll turn out really nice. So I'm not going to get to show you this one finished right away, but I will show you on Friday during our follow-up. But I'm just going to lay this on top of here so you can get an idea. Actually, now that I think about it, maybe I'll leave the spirals showing this way, and just take my to erase these little black marks that are on here, because I do kind of like the spirals on there as well. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's kind of cool too. So maybe I will just leave it that way. We'll see how it is when it's all put together. Yeah, because then I can probably glue that down right away. Interesting. So what I did want to show you, and well, then I will glue it down. Let's glue it down since I'm going to be opening the glue anyway. Since I've got the glue out. So I am putting glue on these two lumps that are in the center, as well as a little bit on the 4 pieces that are sticking up a little bit. You see it had kind of a connector holes there. So I'm going to just put some glue along the top edge of that connector thing. And this is where gravity kicks in, and the glue will, I just had a little extra there, will adhere itself to the rest of the base, because it will pull it down. While it's still wet, it will pull it down. Now there's not a lot of room for it to spread out on this part of it because there's not much room there, so I will put more up here instead on those hooks. Just going to quickly shut that. And leave that to sit. I think this looks pretty cool. I'm liking it. Okay, so because I have some of these that have nothing in them, I'm just going to take a couple of them off here to show you things that you can do with these missing. Now I'm just breaking the jump rings in between because this is one of those necklaces where, or bracelets where they were manufactured with the jump rings. And that's because they're hard to open up to reuse them. Now, these two pieces are ready to go to put on to, you know, I can use it as a connector. I can dangle from it. I can add a ball pin on to the top. So the red ones I'm just going to put back into my stash for a day when I'm working with the red. But the blue one, you know, I might play with the blue one yet. And then I have this one. This one has nothing in it. So that means that the stone probably fell out. And yeah, I know I have oval stones that will fit here just perfectly. But maybe you don't. And so you could try to cut a tiny, tiny little picture to put in there if you wanted, or use some of your stickles to make a little decoration. You can use your glitter glue stuff or your crystal something, glaze. I can't remember what it's called. I know everybody's got these different things, one or the other. But one of the easiest things for me to do, and that I love doing, is just taking a little bit of glue. I'm going to spread this glue into the center as best I can without going too far to the edge or too close to the edge, because you don't want to get the glue everywhere. So there's a blob of glue on here. I hope you can see it. And since I've got all of these seed beads sitting on my table or on my felt here, I'm just going to drop them. I don't want to touch the glue because it's sticky. I just drop them on top and then start spreading them around to fill in the gap. Now you're going to have a few that don't stick. And as you get more in there, you can move these around and build on there. And you're going to have a couple that pop off right away, because maybe you don't have enough glue or you've moved all the glue around. But eventually you'll get them sort of on there. And I leave this now to sit and dry overnight, just like that. And then you add a little bit of clear nail polish on top, and it will look just like a little gem. And these are done with all those millions of little seed beads that we pick off of things, or those little baggies of seed beads that you buy. Or you can use micro beads. There's another one. You can do the same thing with micro beads. Maybe you have some pieces of shell, other little glittery things, you know, sequins, that kind of stuff. So don't rule out stuff that you have already that, you know, you might be putting in shaker cards, or little bits and pieces that come off of when you're working with glitter paper and stuff. That can all be added in as an alternative when you're missing a stone. So that is another lesson for you today. So if I let this sit and dry, and then tomorrow I'll pick it up and, you know, I'll rub my finger across, and there might be a couple of beads that come off, but I would just take some clear nail polish and put the nail polish on. If there's a spot where there's a bead that looks like it's missing, you can always go back and add one more on there, but then you just have to wait till the nail polish dries and then put a little bit more nail polish to hold it in place. But that's an easy, quick fix to create another piece that you can use for your jewelry, for your dangles. So that will have to sit now and dry until, you know, tomorrow. But because it's those same beads and I still have a bunch of them left, I can use that to add in another. Well, here's one done. So let's just show you what it looks like. So I can add one in at the top here and then still dangle something from the bottom. And the first thing that comes to mind is a butterfly. And there you go. So I just have to make one more of these. I could even put a second one down here if I wanted, but I think that's enough just like that. And then since I have this one, I'm going to make another one of these connectors, and I'm going to add this little daisy on here. So we are running out of time. I never even got to this. I'll have to do this one a little bit later. But I think you get a good idea of what I'm trying to achieve here by connecting and using these bracelet pieces, fixing one that had no stone in it. And you know what's going to happen with this. So the rest of these beads, I will just carry on and maybe I'll use them in here. But I think there was another blue one here. Yes, there's another blue one. And there is another empty one. So maybe I can make 2 more connections like this with these 2 beads. Oh, there's another green one here. So maybe this one will get added into here. I will have to put that off for another day, but I think I've shown you a lot. And then on Friday, when I do the Friday follow-up, I will show you these pieces finished. So that's it. That's all for today. The rest of the week, a couple things. One, I probably won't be doing a video for the rest of the week unless I do a thrifty video. That'll be about it. The sun is shining and, you know, we're out doing things. We're not making hay. We're going out and have fun. So we want to go do some foraging at the beach. I'm looking for some driftwood and some beach glass to play with. So yeah, we're taking off here and there because the week is going to be sunny and hot all week. So yeah, sorry. It's so sad. Too bad. But yeah, I will try to fit in a Thrifty Canucks video in between, and I will be back for Friday for my follow-up Friday. As for my journals that I had started last week, my bag bottom journals, that's what I'm calling them, bag bottoms. I will get back into that. I had a little mishap with paper and stuff, and you know, as Sue says, my misadventures. I don't know. I gotta hang out with Darcy more. She has lots of misadventures, but hers are fun. But my misadventure caused me to go into freak out clean mode and sorting things, and then I put that sale of ephemera on, and so that kept me busy for a couple of days sorting paper and sending everything out. So the packages are all ready. They're going out tomorrow morning, only because I still have to seal up the boxes. But all of you that ordered your packages, they are all done and they're all going out tomorrow. I'm so excited about that. I'm not going to have another paper sale. That's it. That's all for now because it was an intense job and I had quite a few orders. And so by the time I got them all done, I was spent. So it made me more aware of how I will do another one in the future, and that I can certainly do this, and it will be a fun thing in the future. What I'd like to ask you, if you have if you could leave me a comment, I was thinking of doing a junk jewelry purge, and I'm also thinking of doing a lace and trims and ribbon purge. So if you could let me know in the comments which one you'd be interested in first, I may consider doing one of those coming up in the next couple of weeks, only because I really am in this cleaning mode and I want to get everything sorted out. So my next purge is either going to be junk jewelry stuff, or lace. And in the junk jewelry, it will be all things that are ready to be connected to stuff, or there'll be pieces of chain and things that you can make your own, and it'll be quite reasonable, around $25 for a pile, but I will go into more details about that after. The lace, I've looked online at different places, and boy, are they ripping you off for lace prices. Holy moly, they're charging so high. I would like to, if people are interested in a lace bundle, it will be a bundle. Like we're talking, a couple hundred pieces. So let me know if you are interested, and which one you're interested in, and kind of that will lead me to where I would do my next purge and big sale. So that's it. That's all. I wish you all a very creative day and a creative week, and I will see you all soon. Bye for now.